Hi folks, and welcome back to another Travels of Red Rover. I'm Sean.
And I'm Corrine.
And this week we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do a retrospective of our 140 days on the road this summer.
Yes, we started out in late May, did some traveling through Nevada, Wyoming, Utah, Montana, Idaho, Oregon, Washington.
Yeah, and then back through a few of those states all over again. So this week we're going to talk a little bit about what we really enjoyed and what we didn't enjoy, and maybe some of the things that...
highlights of the camping and maybe some highlights from photography.
Although this video was made of our 2020 trips, we hope that it might help you in planning your 2021 photo adventures. If you enjoy our videos, please like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate that help.
So we'd like to give you some highlights of what we enjoyed on the trip and maybe a few things that we didn't think were quite so good. Overall, it was a great tour, and I think we chose a really interesting route. We went north from Las Vegas and visited around the Eli area, seeing the Great Basin National Park and the Ward Charcoal Ovens State Park. And then from there we went up.
Don't forget the Basin and Range National Monument, because that was really spectacular.
We did that. And then we also went further north, did quite a couple long days, and got up to Flaming Gorge in northeast Utah. And then we continued from there into Wyoming and spent quite a bit of time in Wyoming enjoying that state because we hadn't explored it much before. From Wyoming we went over to Montana. We didn't spend a whole lot of time in Montana. We visited a few spots, and then we had some business that took us west. So we went through Idaho near the north and on westward toward Oregon and Washington State. We had planned to spend some time in the Palouse area of Washington State, but it was
105
so
degrees.
that we said, well, maybe we should get up into the mountains a little higher in elevation where it's cooler. And that was unfortunate because it was a beautiful time of year there.
Yeah.
From northern Washington, we went west and out to the northwest near Bellingham. Spent a short time there doing some business and visiting some friends. And then we hopped on over on the ferry over to Olympic National Park. And we only had a few days there because we didn't want to be in the national park for the weekends. So we tried to optimize our time between Monday through Friday.
We were also there at a time when the COVID lockdowns in the tribal areas were extreme. So, a lot of the areas where you traditionally could go in terms of some of the beaches and that for both photography and camping and that were all closed. So we didn't spend a lot of time there, actually, as it turns out.
Right. And we got a little rain, so that was a nice break from the really hot temperatures. We went south from there and spent a little time at Long Beach, Washington, which can be quite enjoyable. There's a lovely lighthouse out there, Cape Disappointment. But we found that as we were out there, the weather was a lot foggier.
Yeah.
Because of it gets called Fogust because the heat on land and the cool temperatures of the ocean generate a lot of fog. So it wasn't great for our photography there. So we went from Washington State south into Oregon, and they were having much more lockdowns for COVID than elsewhere. So we went along the coast, but again, a lot of our photography was thwarted by fog.
Yeah, it was actually a little disappointing because we love the Oregon coast, and we really ran into two issues. One was partly the lockdown, but also it was partly folks' response to the lockdown, which is buy an RV, basically an RV tent, anything you could possibly sleep in, and go to the West Coast. So it was, we knew to expect that the Oregon coast is busy during the summertime, but there was a level of busyness that took it to, I think, a new level of insanity. Yeah, so it was not as enjoyable as we normally we expect on the West Coast.
I think a lot of the people who were in Portland were trying to escape for several weeks to hope that the protests would settle down and just not be in that traffic and political mess.
Yeah. Although I'd say one of the kind of optimistic things that we saw that we hadn't seen for a number of years, and that it was mom, dad, and the kids.
Yeah,
lots of families out having a great time, and that was really terrific to see. So anyway, so from the coast, where do we head?
So we went inland in Oregon, and we enjoyed visiting the Painted Hills, which are part of the John Day National Monument.
Right, but you forgot an important part. How about the covered bridges?
Oh, we did some covered bridge photography. That was a nice diversion. Sean generally doesn't go for photographing structures. That's more my stick.
Yeah, that's Corinne's thing. So, but I have to say, I had a pretty good time, and we seemed to hit just sort of like the perfect weather, and it was pre-smoke.
Yes. So as we got out to John Day and the Painted Hills, we were really experiencing a lot of smoke. We also did Smith Rock in Oregon on that route as we headed east again. And we had to do a lot of photography first thing in the morning because that was the best time of the day to get any photographs.
But even then, trying to do the photographs and anything that really had any sky in it, the sky was just a weird color. I mean, it was just awful most of the time. So we didn't spend as much time there. I think if it had been clearer, I think we would have spent more time there. But because it was so smoky and sort of unpleasant, we tended to move. And try to spend most of the trip escaping the rest of the trip escaping the smoke.
Yeah, and we feel sad for all those people that may have been threatened and by those fires and evacuated, and those elderly people who have to live under the conditions that this summer brought with very heavy smoke. We hope many of those areas and their tourist trade recover and nobody lost their home.
Yeah, it's a terrible plot, and we saw some terrible fires coming through that area. And as I said, we really tried to just get ahead of it and stay ahead of it from there. And we were mostly successful. I think we spent 2 or 3 days in Idaho where it was pretty uncomfortable. But once we got out of Idaho...
No, that was Oregon.
Or, I'm sorry, once we got out of Oregon and heading into Idaho and a little bit west of that, we seemed to duck a lot of it at that point.
Yeah. So we went into Idaho, and we drove to one of our favorite places along the Snake River at the Three Island Crossing State Park. Stayed there a couple days, caught up on some work, uploaded some videos, and then we went round to the Mesa Falls, which is in the northeast portion of Idaho.
Had a great time there. Loved the Mesa Falls. Photography wasn't as terrific as we might have hoped, but it was a really terrific place to visit and a place we'd never been before. So it was really great finding this new, really terrific place. Although I think the day we had the best time was when we went up and did the springs, where the headwaters for, I've forgotten which river now, Snake River? Or Columbia. It's one of the big rivers anyway. I'll put it up there since we don't remember off the top.
I think it was called Big Springs area.
Big Springs. And just to go to an area and watch how much water was coming out of the ground. It was amazing. It was really amazing to watch that. So and we really enjoyed. I think we really enjoyed that side trip, even though we didn't do a lot of photography. It was a really fun day. So where do we go from there?
So from there we went back into Wyoming. Well, no, we did a little bit on the backside of Grand Teton Park near Driggs, Idaho.
Oh yeah, we had a great time there. And we had every kind of weather you could imagine. That's one of the things that surprised us this summer. To be in Flaming Gorge early in the summer and it's 80 degrees the first day we're there and snowing the next. And Driggs was kind of the same. We got up into Driggs and it's 85, 90 degrees during the daytime for the first couple of days that we arrived there, and then it snowed. I mean, it's kind of one of those amazing things where you can go from such high temperatures to such low temperatures so fast. Although the snow made the west side of the Tetons a lot prettier.
Yes. We didn't get quite as great a picture in the western side of the Tetons as we hoped. I think it'd be nicer with more snow, and we still had some problems with smoke.
Yeah, the smoke caught up to us there, and it just made the sky, again, I'm a real fussy about, if I have to have a sky, I want it to look like the sky, and when it starts to get sort of greeny brown, ugly gray, I find that extremely disappointing. So not such great pictures of the western side, although I'd go back there. I really enjoyed that. Loved Driggs, and those little towns along that road. It was really a terrific spot.
Yeah, we enjoyed quite a few of the towns in Wyoming, even the ones we had never heard of on the map. They just happened to be close to some of the photography places we wanted to go. And the hospitality in Wyoming was great in the small towns. People were very friendly. They weren't so fearful of the COVID problem. They were taking precautions, but they were trying to make the atmosphere as normal as possible.
Yeah, and as I said, sort of that western Idaho, eastern Idaho, eastern Montana, all of Wyoming, northern Utah. We just found folks were, being sensible, doing some things they needed to do to protect themselves and those around them, but at the same time, they were really trying to make, the people visiting them feel welcome, and we just had a great time through that whole area. So that was really terrific.
So once we started getting snow in Driggs, we thought, it must be time to head south.
Yeah.
So we went back down into Utah for a little while.
Yeah, hung out in Utah for a little while and then headed back east again into Colorado for our fall color trip, where Kenneth Fritz joined us for a week. And if you've been watching our videos, you've been seeing the fall color videos and Kenneth's participation. And Kenneth is a great friend and was totally game for being on the video and that. So it was a great fun having him along for that trip.
So we spent about 2 weeks doing loops around the central part of the Rockies in Colorado, watching the leaves change color.
Yeah, and so the first week, it's amazing how much change happens over a week, because the first week we were there were splashes of color, but and when I say color, I mean yellow or red or orange, but mostly everything was pretty green. But by the end of the second week, after Kenneth had joined us, it was I mean, the last day we spent together was with Camp Hale, and it was just spectacular. We hit it at absolute peak, which was really, really a lot of fun. I mean, you couldn't look anywhere and not find beautiful color.
And it's not a spot that many people talk about, Camp Hale area.
Right.
Over the Tennessee Pass.
Over the Tennessee Pass was the 101st Mountain Division's old training facilities. And it's turned into, I don't know if it's National Forest or a National Park or a National Monument. I'm not sure exactly what it is. But they've created great hiking trails. There's some great UTV trails. And as I said, the color in there was absolutely spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. So
by the time we got done our fall colors in Colorado, we were ready to start heading home. We made a stop at the Colorado National Monument, which was a new find for us. Definitely worth the stop there. We actually visited twice and really enjoyed it. They have lovely viewpoints and lovely campground there, and it's quite close to Fruta and Grand Junction.
Grand Junction, yeah.
So it's not very far off the main highway, so it's an easy side trip to do. And once we got done at Colorado National Monument, I think we were feeling photography burnout.
Yeah, I think we were. I mean, we'd spent literally 2 weeks hardcore every day, looking for images, and that just, from a creative point of view, just wears you out. And I think we were done at that point. And we were ready to start heading home, but we wanted to take a side trip down to Moab. But frankly, when we got there, it was so crowded, and there's a huge amount of construction going through the middle of Moab. And the campgrounds were all full. The dispersed camping, they were on top of each other at that point. And we just thought, nah, we're not going to stop. We just kind of literally blew through Moab, heading south, and we stopped at Gooseneck State Park.
Yeah, it's one that many people don't visit. Most people go to Page, Arizona, and see the Horseshoe Bend for the Colorado River. Gooseneck's also on the Colorado River, and it has actually more bends to it than the Horseshoe Bend, and it faces south, so it's some pretty good photography location there. Not much to say about the camping. It's pretty much just a big gravel parking lot that people park around the rim of, but it's spread out enough that it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, well, actually, since we don't really care about the campgrounds all that much, as long as it's a relatively flat space to park, we're not that fussy. For us, it's more about the ambiance of the place, and the spot that we had, we literally could open our side door and see the beautiful river curves in the mountainsides, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous place.
And while we were there, we also did a side trip over to House on Fire, which is old ruins of some Native American people's homes, and that was really interesting, although we found that the information we got on the best time of day to be there might have been a little distorted.
Yeah, I think so. Although we ended up getting some lovely photographs. In fact, it's good that we went actually as early as we did, because the best photographs we got that day were early, and later it got the more the light became challenging.
Yeah, so we'll have a separate video that includes those photographs and talk more about the time to be there.
Yeah, so that'll be in a video to come. And then from there, we pretty much headed home at that point. Although we did make a promise to ourselves, and that we really wanted to go back and shoot the Valley of the Gods, and that area. We have never, we've kind of blown through that area a number of times, but we've never really stopped.
That's right near Gooseneck State Park.
Yeah.
And we came down through the valley, well, the area of the Valley of the Gods, and I had never seen quite the same scenery anywhere else. So it was, wow, this looks really interesting, but I feel like I'm on a schedule to get home, so let's make a concerted effort to come back and spend several days here.
Yeah, the challenge that we think that we'll have to incorporate is time. These are very spread out, and sometimes the best roads or the best vantage points to actually photograph them are some ways away from them. And you've got to have the time to sort of drive out and be in the right place at the right time. And we were at that point, I think we were really suffering burnout. I mean, I think we really found that when we went to the House on Fire. We were pretty much done photography. We were ready to come home at that point. So after that, we headed home to Las Vegas.
Yep, and took a couple of weeks off from photography. Just got ourselves settled in home and did some exercising and hiking and played it casual.
Around the country. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation today. It's a little bit different than what we normally do. Much more opinionated than we are typically. Or your experience was different? Please let us know in the comments down below.
Yeah,
We'd love to hear about them.
Sure, because for the rest of our audience may be interested in your experiences and what you find great about camping and some of these places, or where you thought we missed seeing an excellent photography spot.
Yep, absolutely. So if you enjoyed this video today, please give us a thumbs up. If you'd like to keep track of our videos, please subscribe. We really, really, really need subscribers as we build our channel, and we really appreciate those that have subscribed already, and we look forward to new subscribers.
Yeah, we hope to really share our experience and make it easier for other people to find some great photography locations, perhaps off the beaten path, and share with you not only where these spots are, but also the best time of day to visit them.
Yep, we try very hard to do that. And if you'd like to know when we actually release videos, hit that bell button right down there. And as always, don't hesitate to leave us a comment, a thought, an idea. Certainly we expect you to, if you have any thoughts about what we've said today, don't hesitate to let us know your thoughts and your experiences. We love hearing about them. Anything else?
No, I think we're good.
I think we're good. Bye for now.